3 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to the season premiere of the Fred McNair radio show on this Monday night, 5 days before the Braves get set to kick it off against Miles College. As a matter of fact, we'll be kicking it off at 6 o'clock on Saturday, September 2nd, as the Braves take on the Golden Bears of Miles College. I predict Coach McNair by this time Saturday might be 7-0 Alcorn. Take opening kickoff. Hey, get off to a fast start. What you think?
That'll be great, Charles. That thing that we're trying to do as a team and as a coaching staff to get off to a fast start this whole year, not only just this game, but this whole season, kind of branding ourselves with a fast start every game. So whether it's on offense, whether it's on defense or special team, we're going to try to do that every game, not just only this game, but every game we play, we're going to try to get off to a fast start.
Well, of course, you can participate. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. You can tweet a question, Tall Man Radio. You can text a question, area code 601-331-24. So we'll be hearing from you, I'm sure. If you have any questions for Head Coach Fred McNair as we get ready for the season, I'd like to know from you out there, which game are you looking forward to? Of course, I'm looking forward to every game, but I'm sure some fans talk about more games than others. So looking forward to hearing from you on that. Before we get underway with our season preview, Coach, I want to, obviously, our thoughts and prayers are with our folks down in Houston with this catastrophic, and that's the key word that's being used now. It's catastrophic. 12 years ago, we dealt with Hurricane Katrina, and I was right here on this campus when the lights went out and the campus was out for several days. Of course, we all know what happened in New Orleans and the coast. And it took several years, and even to this day in New Orleans, in some places, folks haven't recovered from that catastrophic event. But you're talking about a city in Houston 10 times the size of the city of New Orleans. And for our perspective, you have two SWAC institutions, Texas Southern right there in Houston, and of course Prairie View. And they're scheduled to play each other on Saturday. Whether that will happen or not, we don't know. We haven't gotten any information on that. We know the Houston Texans are training up in Dallas. We know other schools in the Houston area have kind of uprooted and gone to different places. So clearly our thoughts and prayers are with our folks down in the Houston area.
And most definitely, Charles. And anytime you see something as devastating as a flood like that in Houston, man, I tell you, you do have to reflect back on the time that happened here in Mississippi with Katrina and how devastating that was. And just waking up to it again this morning, just watching the news and just watching people being rescued by helicopters and by boats, and they still extending hands out for help. So my thoughts and prayers are with that whole Houston family. It's something that it's a change that has been made now. And it's really tough situation for families.
Have you talked to some folks, some friends, some colleagues down in Houston the last few days?
I have been texting some, and they're safe and everything, Charles, and just reaching out to them and just checking on them every once in a while and making sure they're okay. But overall, you want to make sure that the whole Houston family, the whole city of Houston, is doing well behind this storm, Charles. And from my understanding, it's just sitting there right now, just pouring down raining now. Hopefully everybody will be okay, and those that's in situation get rescued.
It brings up a question, and I was talking with somebody about this the other day. You try to temper yourself a little bit when you talk about athletics and just the entertainment value of it, but then real life hits. Mother Nature has a say in things. Of course, when Katrina hit a dozen years ago, we were scheduled to play a game. We didn't. There were some other games that were canceled as well. Of course, we don't know what's going to happen with some of these games. I think LSU and BYU were supposed to play in Houston this weekend. They're looking at New Orleans or Nashville or Baton Rouge maybe. The games are obviously not going to be played in Houston. So the obvious question, it doesn't impact us per se. We're going to get a lot of rain out of this the next 3 or 4 days. But, in Houston, should games be played, considering some say no, some say sports kind of helps in the therapeutic sense?
I guess, in the perspective where you have to look at it to where does it make sense to play games like that after a storm and after the catastrophe that all hit Houston, and you kind of you think back, now even here in Mississippi, you're going to have the effect of the rain and everything that goes on here. we as a coaching staff, we talked about it early about practice time, with the rain coming in Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and see how can we get time into practice. And unfortunate enough, tonight we'll get a chance to go out tonight and do some stuff tonight for practice. And hopefully Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday we'll get a chance. But just watching the weather, it's going to be a good pour here in Mississippi.
Yeah, in the forecast now, 50-50 chance of rain for Saturday. This slow-moving system, it's not moving very much. Wanted to get that and, pay our respects to the folks down in Houston, a couple of radio colleagues that I know, Larry Chatterbox Hale, who was, did the Florida A&M Texas Southern game the other day. They made it back Sunday morning at 4. Of course, Mike Prince of the Prairie View Radio Network and our colleagues and friends down in the Houston area. Our thoughts and prayers are definitely with you. We'll take a break here. We'll get into the 2017 team preview. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. Text or tweet. We'd love to hear from you. Back after this timeout here on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
Your Eastern Division champions, Alcorn State University Braves, kick off their 2017 season this Saturday when they entertain Miles College right here on the campus of Alcorn State University, Jack Speaks Marino Cassim Stadium. Game time 6 p.m. Pre-game 5:30. Join Charles DeVos of the Alcorn Braves Edmonds and Dr. David Crosby for all the play-by-play. It's Alcorn football on WPRL 91.7 FM and WPRL.org.
Welcome back to the Fred McNair Radio Show. Glad you can join us here. 10 minutes after 6 o'clock. Give us a call, 601-877-6595. You can tweet a question. We got a couple of those already in. Tall Man Radio on Twitter. You can also text a question, a new feature that we're trying out this year. 601-300-3124. Area code 601-300-3124. Glad you can join us. We just got a tweet, by the way, Coach, on that Prairie View, Texas Southern deal. We got a tweet. Appreciate Mr. T chiming in, who's obviously listening. He says the Prairie View, Texas Southern game has been rescheduled for Thanksgiving weekend. So the game obviously will not be played, and just sort of a tough situation there.
And like I said, even watching Texas Southern, they was down at FAMU this past weekend, and just thinking about the weather that was presenting itself at that time, and just wondering, could old guys get back to Houston from Florida? And just want to know how that worked out, but seemed to be very fine. And just like I said, it's tough to play in a situation as tough as this one for those teams in Houston. And I do understand the process they're taking in the effort and putting time out for those families that's involved in that.
All right, well, let's get into the 2017 Alcorn Braves football team. Let's start with the offense, Coach. Of course, it starts at quarterback with Lenoris Footman. We know he had a variety of ailments last year. Pretty good summer. Talks with him at SWAC Football Media Day. Just talk about how he looks for 2017.
Yeah, he's Lenoris Footman, and I think that throughout the whole process of this fall camp, he shows real good leadership and can lead this team, lead his offense into where it need to be going, Charles, in that direction. His arm strength finally came back. He's throwing the ball very accurately and got a strong arm, as always, Charles. And I think that what he can do with his feet as far as running and everything too is going to be a big attribution to his offense.
Yeah, well, you look at just his off the field demeanor, just wanting to get back there, knowing that some unfinished business last year.
And that's one of the things that he really strived on, Charles. He talked about it all the time about unfinished, and I guess that kind of made him eager to come back for his 5th year and play football here at Alcorn State. He's a great individual. You just meet him as a person, you will never know he's a football player if you just walk up to him and you didn't know him. But he's a great individual, and he's molding himself into being a very respected young man. as a person.
And of course, Lenore's Footman talks about the 2017 season and what we can expect, as he feels like there's some unfinished business.
Being the first one in my family to graduate from college, it just means a lot. My family pushed me each and every day, because it means that much. It takes you far in life, so I'm just glad I was blessed enough to accomplish that goal.
Speaking of stage, we were on a big stage last year again, came up short. How quickly did, as the leader of this team, to put that behind you and get ready for 2017?
I didn't necessarily put it behind me. I kind of put it to the side, just use it as fuel for the next season. Every time I'm working out, that's what I'm thinking about, so I can go a little harder. But, it's always good to make it the way you want to be. And like my grandma always said, you can't win them all. So, it's just a good experience to be there, and hopefully get back there this year.
And of course, backing them up, talk about that in Noah Johnson.
Oh, Noah Johnson's been a great quarterback as well, Charles. And I think that after Lenore's went down last year, he stepped right in and moved the team to a couple of victories there in the stretch. And he's a really headed player, and he knows the offense just as well as Lenore's. And so you're talking about a two-headed monster there. You're talking about if something happened to one, you don't lose much when other guys step in. And I think those guys they're very active together. They talk about it all the time, and with the experience they have, I have no problem in playing Noah Johnson at any time. When the Footman seem to stall and struggle.
The big question, I think, we knew it was going to be Footman. We knew Noah Johnson would be number 2. The question is the battle for the number 3. You talked most of the year last year about Felix Harper really wanting to pull the red shirt from him and get him out there on the field. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Is he solidly the number 3?
Well, him and Thaddeus, they're still pushing. They still got some kinks to work out, but I think Felix may be a little bit ahead of Thaddeus right now. But I think those two guys have been working hard during camp to make it where they need to be to compete for that number 3 spot. And last year, even though we didn't have to play Felix Harper in a game, I think that kind of saved this red shirt. And looking forward to him in the future too, Charles. But the competition is always good to have when you talk about quarterbacks.
So in the backfield, obviously DeLance Turner and what he did last year was outstanding, spectacular. One of the big changes, we talked about it, Marquise Warford, who was in the backfield last year, moving to wide receiver. So who will be DeLance Turner's backup?
Well, you talk about DeLance Turner, Charles, and you're talking about a guy that has been molded, and he's back for his 5th year as well. Those guys have the determination to do whatever they want to do, and I think DeLance is a great model for those guys behind him. P.J. Simmons is going to be a great back for us. He's coming out of Florida, and he's done a great job during camp. Marquise Foreman, he's the same way. You're talking about a small back that really got the twitch for running the football, and he's one of those guys. So we're pretty solid there at the running back position. I think that Coach Kaiser done a great job in developing those young men, and with the help of DeLance in front of them and just learning from him. He's just like a coach on the field as well, Charles. And DeLance has done a great job with these guys and kind of getting them molded to where they need to be as a backup.
Well, one area of the offense we really don't have to talk about much because there's so much experience there. It's the wide receivers.
Oh, yeah, Charles. I mean, I hope you want to think that we had those guys on last year and brought the injury that we had at that position, Charles. And I think Orlando Bills has been a proven receiver for the last few years he played. And I think this year he's playing with more of an attitude at that position, catching the ball well. I mean, he's doing everything right, Charles. And we're proud to have him back as a 5th-year guy as well. And we just got a lot of depth there now. And with Charles Hughes returning, Jalen Walker's another guy who's a 5th-year guy as well, coming back for another year. You also have T.J. Johnson. He's a big length receiver. Darius Anderson as well. And those guys, you're talking about some receiver corps that's at least 6'3" and over, Charles, and in stature. Those are going to be some good guys. And the young guys, you talk about Juwan Anthony and Tim McNair and those guys that's been coming along. I think with the leadership of those veterans, bringing those guys along is really big for them. And I think the process has been very great for them.
Of course, the other McNair, how easy or how fun is that for you to deal with him?
It's kind of tough, you know. just being a coaching one of your nephews and being able to see him work on the field. I think he did a great job during camp of catching the football. And you know, you hate to have to say it, but sometimes you kind of hope that those two guys, with Dewan and Tim, don't have to play this year. You know, so but by committee, you know, if it happens, it's happened. But hopefully these other guys will really just hang in there and we stay injury prone and not get injured at all this year. We'll be fine at that position. Even moving Marquise Warford back at that spot as receiver too is going to help a lot at that position. And we're just playing it now and keep those guys healthy. And I think that receiving course is going to be one of the toughest ones.
And of course, one of the bigger stories is the offensive line. We were so special. We were so solid for so many years. All conference offensive linemen over the years, including last year with D'Antonio Dade. But is the O-line remade? How is it looking? Here's offensive line coach Ryan Stanchek to talk about his unit.
This is the deepest group we've had. You know, yet to be seen on quality at the top, but this is by far my fourth year here. This is the deepest group we've had.
What makes this group so special this year?
I think we got a lot of guys that can play. Tim Gardner, you know, he's preseason All-American. He's done a tremendous job, and I expect big things out of him. Kenyon Brantley, you know, should fill in, and he's been a defensive lineman, and we moved him over to O-line, and he's been tremendous. Mustafa Ibrahim, he's done a great job at that center spot. Looking for big things from him. Right guard, it's going to be by committee right now. You know, we'll see. We got to find that. But William Gordon, Darius Davis, and Chris McCray. Right tackle Kevin Hall showed some things as a true freshman last year, and very excited about his potential out there. He's had a great offseason.
So, Coach, talk about your offensive line and how that's worked itself out in the last few months.
I can't be more excited for no one else than Coach Stanchek. You know, this by far, like he said, it's been the deepest depth chart he's had in 4 years he's been here, with the number of guys we have to work with as offensive linemen. And you know, he hit it right on the head as far as the depth wise and the guys that he thinks can be a great contributor to this offensive line. And you know, just seeing those guys work every day in practice, it's amazing, Charles. You know, you talk about synchronized swimming. You ought to talk about a synchronized offensive line, the way they work together and that thing there. So it's a wonderful thing that he got as many guys that he got now as offensive linemen that we had in the past years.
Yeah, I mean, we always tell this story, how in the Arkansas game, you only had 5 offensive linemen and they played every snap.
And that's exactly right, Charles. And that goes out to Coach Stanchek, the job he doing with the offensive line and what he does with them. And actually, one of them was a true freshman. And, you know, you start a true freshman against a good Arkansas defense, and you talk about stepping up to the mic and singing the song. Those guys performed, man. They did a great job. We had almost 200-yard rushing on Arkansas that game. So that just says a lot about what he coached and how he can coach and the way he make these guys go.
And of course, the other storyline on the offensive side are tight ends and fullbacks. To talk about that is tight end and fullbacks coach Elliot Ratton.
I really feel like we have 4 guys that are going to play a lot of football for us, starting with Brandon Campbell. You know, he missed a lot of last season. I'm very excited for him. He's one of the better football players on this football team, and you know, just to have him back and healthy is exciting and fun to get to coach him every day. Jaquavian Bowles has had an outstanding summer, spring, and fall camp. He's someone who probably didn't get as many snaps last year, but just has really bought in and just had a great offseason. Demetrius Lewis is back for us with Keontez Everett. He's a transfer in from Mississippi Gulf Coast who's had a tremendous fall camp, and you know, if I have the opportunity, they're all going to play, and the tight ends are going to allow us to do a lot of different things because, you know, they're a different breed, being pass catchers, run blockers, you know, and they're having a really good fall camp, and you know, it's been fun to coach this group this year.
And that's Coach Radden talking about you look at the fullbacks as well as the tight ends. Of course, Brandon Campbell, his injury early really changed things yet. Andrew Moby play that position. So talk about that, Coach. In those two areas, what can we expect?
I mean, you talk about the tight end spot where you use them as a H-back in the backfield and kind of offset things and what you can do and personnel-wise. It kind of helps you out on the offensive-wise. And, Brandon Campbell, we lost him last year, and it was a big loss for us last year because now Jaquavian Bowie had to step up early. He had to play that position. Demetri Lewis came in and did a great job for us. Got the transfer from Gulf Coast. Everett had a tremendous camp. And, we're looking for bigger things out of these guys this year. And we probably have more depth right now at tight end than we did in the past as well. So, it just the things that we can do out of that personnel makes a whole lot of difference in the offense.
When you look at the offense, Coach, we kind of know what we got. Receivers, veteran bunch, offensive line, depth there. So when you look at a guy like Marquise Warford, and we talked about it early on, the decision to move him back to wide receiver. Of course, he was a running back naturally, came in as receiver, played running back last year, now he's back at wide receiver.
Yeah, he's just one of the guys, Coach. He got the knack for every position, I think. He's just that kind of athlete, and he makes plays. And he's a very competitive guy. You see him sometimes, he's over-competitive most of the time, and he just wants what's best for the team. And he's not a selfish individual, but when you look at his competitive nature, you talk about somebody that want to win at all times, Charles. And so we strive to make him part of this offense as well. Going to do a lot of great things in this offense. Not necessarily saying he made a running back all the time, a receiver. He could play in the backfield. So it's just a thing that he can do with the ball in his hand. And we just going to play it by committee and make sure that we're doing the right things to get his team a winning edge.
I'm really looking forward to Orlando Beals in the season that he's going to have. Tavares Johnson, I see him on social media showing his workouts and the things that he's doing to get better. What's the biggest difference in his game this year than last year?
I think, what he's really been working on now, being consistent in pass catching and things like that. So I think Coach Chandler has done a great job with those guys and getting an opportunity to catch balls off the jug machine and stuff like that and just making their hands better. I think he does a great job running routes and just being more consistent in his pass catching is the biggest thing because he can run when he gets the ball in his hand. So that part we don't really worry about. We just worry about him making the plays when he has the opportunity to do it.
All right, we're going to take an early break here. We'll look at the defensive side of the ball. We'll hear from defensive coordinator Cedric Thomas when we come back. Still a lot to get to. We're going to get a Miles College preview. We're going to hear from athletics director Derek Horn talking about the athletic season. Of course, we've had a couple of losses in the Alcorn family. Of course, longtime band director Samuel Griffin. Dr. Donzel Lee, the provost, will talk about that. Of course, the band has been such a big part of athletics, and of course, on Saturday, lost another Alcorn legend, former interim president, and he was the president of the SWAC, Dr. Norris Edney. So we'll get Coach McNair's thoughts on all that as we roll on. And of course, a Miles College preview. We'll hear from their head coach. He'll join us to talk about Alcorn, and Fred McNair will talk about Miles. So all that coming up on the other side of this timeout. Back in a minute on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
It's the Friday Night High School Game of the Week. This Friday night, the Jefferson County Tigers will try again to get win number 1 of the 2017 season when they take on Amite County at Tiger Stadium on the campus of Jefferson County High School. Join yours truly, J. Miles, and the Bowlsman, your Friday night play-by-play crew for all the play-by-play. Game time 7 p.m. Pre-game 6:50. WPRL 91.7 FM and WPRL.org. It's Jefferson County High School football. Don't you miss it.
At highway speeds, the average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts, stopwrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
At WPRL 91.7 FM.
All right, welcome back to the Fred McNair Radio Show. Don't forget, folks, next week, the Braves will head to Miami to take on FIU, and that's a 6:30 kickoff Central Time on September the 9th. You can get tickets here on campus for the Alcorn FIU game. It's $24. $24 per ticket. You can get them at the Alcorn Business Office. 601-877-6818, 601-877-6823, or 601-877-6822. It's $24 for each ticket. And for ticket information, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you can call the Alcorn State University automated ticket line at 601-877-6800. Constantly updated with the latest ticket information. All right, as we approach the bottom of the hour, let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Alcorn Football Radio Network.
Tuning into WPRL 91.7 FM, broadcasting from the campus of Alcorn State University.
All right, welcome back to the Fred McNair Radio Show. A tweet from Mr. T. He said, "Coach, just want to wish you the best of luck and another great season. Get back to Atlanta and the new Mercedes-Benz Dome," which is unbelievable.
That's right. Thanks a lot, Mr. T.
All right, as we look at the defensive side of the ball, Coach, of course, one of the first decisions you made when you were named head coach, making Cedric Thomas your defensive coordinator. What are you looking for here in year 2 of that process?
I think, it was a no-brainer, and you're exactly right, Charles. And I thought that making that decision with Coach Thomas, he'd been around these young men and kind of understand the whole process that they take to grow these guys as football players and mold them into great individuals as well. And, when we lost this staff and that job presented itself, he was one of the guys that never thought crossed my mind to go out and reach for somebody else. And he done a great job. His defense last year, he was kind of young in the secondary, and now this time he got a chance to see him grow up under his helm, for his second year. Just being ready this year, I think, is the biggest thing that we could touch upon. But he's done an outstanding job, he and his staff, on that side of the ball of growing the young men, getting them to understand the sole purpose of the defense.
So let's talk about some of those guys up front.
You talk about Mike Brooks coming back. He's a senior, and he's going to be a good guy for us, man. I tell you, you talk about a work habit. He got one. Lifting weights, and you talk about Sterling Shipley at tackle. Big, strong guy. Now he began to understand the whole process of everything we're trying to do on the defense, and just being a muscle. And so Marshawn Smith is another guy that's going to play. Done a great job, and he's one of the guys that we look for bigger things in. And now having Terry Woodington back, now he was hurt last year. Got a chance to have him back to play, and he's looking good during this camp. So those guys up front, it's going to be a big issue with those guys.
So as you look at the middle, Coach, talk a little bit about who's going to man the middle for you in that defense.
Well, you talk about linebackers, and you talk about Solomon Muhammad. Breland Hollis is a young guy that done come on and presented himself well to Coach Thornton. Trey Ferris, Travell Ware, those guys, those young guys, Damian Anderson. I think Coach Thornton got 10 guys there that he's really putting effort into making them the best linebacker corps here in the SWAC. And not only in the SWAC, but in the country.
And then on the back end?
Man, you talk about some guys that growed up quick last year. You talk about LaShawn Ely, that played as a freshman last year. Now we have Brady Smith coming back. He was hurt last year. Of course, O.J. O'Neal, he's a headhunter. And then you talk about cornerbacks and Allen Bruce, Diego Sama. Jalen Morris played as a freshman last year. The old guys like that. And then Quentin Smith coming back. He didn't play last year. Then we have the transfer, Isaiah Thomas. And I tell you what, this is a great core of guys here, Charles, that I think the depth-wise is really what's going to help Coach Thomas in the back end there, Charles. And you talk about some guys that can really play and play fast in the football, and that's what you have.
And for those who might not know, of course, Cedric Thomas moved over from secondary, and you made him defensive coordinator, so he's looking for a secondary coach, and he's found that. Talk about that.
Yeah, Coach Quinn, and he's right there with Coach Thomas during the whole process of the first year, and just like Coach Thomas knows, Coach Quinn knows, so kind of worked together there, and it was an easy process there too, just to bring him on up under Coach Thomas, and learn from him. And so, you know, he know the back end as well as Coach Thomas now. And so, a lot of times when you're looking for guys, sometimes they're ready to follow you, Charles. And I think that's what we found right here at Alcorn. A bunch of guys that want to coach and that can coach. They got the capability of doing everything right. And that's what we strive to do here at this university, this football program, to bring in some elite guys that knows football and can get the young men and mold them, not only as football players, but as young men as well.
And of course, head coach Cedric Thomas on the defensive side talks about what he can expect from his bunch here in the upcoming season.
They're excited, excited and motivated. That's the biggest thing. When we kind of taking a different approach, we got set up core values. We starting to stand by and preach every day. And it's more so not about the W's and L's, and it's about just life and everybody having fun. That's the biggest thing. We're back to having fun, because one thing with championships, for a lot of people who hadn't experienced it, it can be pressure. We say it ain't no pressure, but it's pressure from alumni, it's pressure from upper level administration, it's pressure on themselves, because they want to. You talking about 4 years in a row, you've been in a certain spot that's expected. So it is pressure with it, So we try to downplay the pressure and just say, hey, let's have fun. We do things right, we know what'll happen, but let's have fun in the process and let's enjoy it. That's why we're flying around having a lot of fun, and it always helps to have a lot of depth. It's hard to run around. You think about the Pine Bluff game when you're playing 90 to 100 plays when a lot of guys injured, but when you got too deep at a lot of spots, you can fly around that much faster. And it's a process. The kids believe in it, and the coaches do. We don't have the big transition like we did this time last year. Everybody's hearing the same voice. Coach Mack, he's tightened things down. This ain't his first go round. It's not my first go round as a coordinator, so it's a lot of things now that's just it's making the transition that much easier. So we're excited. The X and O's, that's gonna come, but just the operation and the efficiency of what we got as a staff and how things are being implemented is what we're more excited about.
Coach Thomas always talks about the life lessons. He huddles his unit up at the 30-yard line after the game, win or lose, just to talk about the game a little bit, but just keeping your head in it in the game of life. Whatever he can get in that short period of time, he does that.
That's exactly right, Charles. And you talk about trying to mold these young men to life after football. And that's one thing that we do as a staff, and I think the guys have really just bought into what we're trying to establish, and especially them as young men, Charles. And everybody need a mentor somewhere down the line, and away from home. These young men, we do have to be their mentor and things like that, Charles, and get them to understand the right and the wrong, and make sure they're following their dream of getting an education here at Alcorn State University. So that's the biggest thing. So it's not all about X and O sometimes with us. We do try to teach the kids lifelong lessons.
All right, it's 36 minutes after the hour. We're going to go to the phone lines. Marquise, our first call of the 2017 season, calling from Port Gibson. Good evening, Marquise.
How you doing, John?
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, Marquise.
All right. I got the upcoming game coming up Saturday.
Yes, sir, man. And I think it'll be a challenge for us, and we're trying to put everything together now to make it a whole lot easier for these young men to go out and win ball games now. So we're trying to establish that, and we're just working hard every day and putting the pieces together.
Oh, okay. Then, yeah. I hope y'all come up with that win.
Yeah, we're working hard for it, man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So yeah. How many games y'all got?
We have 11 games.
For home games?
Oh, 6 home games.
Yes.
Oh, 6 home games. Okay. Yeah. And y'all got Pubs in October, right?
Yeah, Prairie View.
Yeah, that's for homecoming, right?
Homecoming, October 14th.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Oh, that's all.
All right, thank you, Marquise. We really appreciate it. All right, Marquise joining us from Port Gibson. TJ Mayfield has tweeted in. He always is involved with the Alcorn program, always is excited about the upcoming season. Talk about the walk-ons that have surprised you thus far. Pretty good question.
Well, I mean, you're looking at it, Charles, and one guy that really sticks out on offense is Joseph Milborn. He's the offensive lineman, Charles, from Texas, and actually, Charles, he got a chance to actually be our number 2 center. He's a walk-on, and he's been embraced with this whole program. Even when he just came for a visit, Charles, and he was just overwhelmed, and this is some place that he want to be. And that's one thing that I always tell my coaching staff: we just got to go out and recruit the guys who want to be at Alcorn State University. And that's what this kid here he's been a good workhorse ever since he's been in charge.
All right, Coach, special teams. Let's go over that a little bit.
Well, I guess
Punter, kicker, return, to talk all about the special teams.
Well, I guess the biggest thing, Corey, I tell you what, he's been booming some kick, Charles, and I think, he's going to take over the kicking game for us. And, we do have another guy in Mr. Jeans, and he's been dealing with some stuff too, so he can kick as well. Long snapper Matt Stewart been doing a wonderful job getting long snaps in there, Charles. And the operation time, what makes it operation a whole lot better than getting kicks blocked and all the time. And it's all have to do with the long snap and the kicker. The operation time approaching the ball. So they've been doing a great job of working their timing down and everything. And back in the back end return, you have P.J. Simmons and you have Marquise Wilford returning kick. And may even see Brady Smith back in the back, Charles. So I think we'll be fine as far as special team wise. We just this week we'll be trying to sharpen our tools a little bit sharper and get our special team where it needs to be as well as offensive defense.
All right, Coach Fred McNair joining us here, of course, on the Fred McNair Radio Show. We're going to take a timeout here. We'll be right back after this 1-minute break.
The Alcorn State University School of Agriculture, Research, Extension, and Applied Sciences is a premier land-grant program that promotes excellence in the areas of teaching, research, and outreach activities delivered by cutting-edge technology to its students and the communities it serves. Through vibrant teaching, research, and outreach activities, the School of Areas empowers students and citizens educationally and socioeconomically to enrich the quality of life for themselves and their communities. For more information on our school and our services, visit us online at www.alcorn.edu/areas.
Join WPRL 91.7 FM and WPRL.org for the 2017 edition of the High School Coaches Show to air every Friday at 10 a.m. Hosted by Jay Miles, gospel music director, with head coaches James Harrison of the Jefferson County Tigers and Harry Brown of the Port Gibson Blue Waves. The coaches will be talking about the X's and O's of the upcoming 2017 football season. Don't miss it.
High school football definitely underway. Our area teams doing pretty well. Port Gibson doing pretty well. Jefferson County, a tough loss. Vicksburg High looking for their first win as they play Warren Central. And Warren Central, one of the premier games in the state last week, lost to Pearl. So a lot of high school action. And of course, the Braves open up against Miles College 6 o'clock on Saturday. Coach, we got a question that's come in about a kid Kentucky, previously played at Kentucky, an offensive lineman that previously played at Kentucky. What can you tell us about that?
Well, that's the player Marcellus Jones. We was unable to land him here, Charles, and I think he came on a visit for us, and we thought we had him here, and he didn't make it in on campus for us. So I think we lost him during recruiting visit. I think there was a lot of other issues that was going on with that situation too as well. Just getting all the information that we need from him to get him enrolled in school.
Another tweet, any changes in the defensive or offensive schemes this year?
Well, I think that what Coach Geis and Coach Thomas been doing for this camp, been putting in little tweaks here and there. But as far as, everything goes, we're just going to try to up-tempo a little bit more and play faster on defense. And schematic-wise, I think we have to play it by committee, but because every game you play is going to be something different with every team, so you have to do it by game plan.
All right, that's Braves head football coach Fred McNair. We'll take another timeout. We'll transition and get ready for our Week 1 opponent, Miles College. But before we take this break, we want to remind you the Alcorn State University Alumni Foundation will have their 9th annual Purple and Gold Golf Tournament Friday, October 13th. For more information, you can call Athletics Director Derek Horn at 6500, or you can call Dr. John Walls at 601-831-2421. The Alcorn State University Alumni Foundation mission statement is to raise funds for the athletic department of the university. The funds derived from the annual tournament proceeds will be given to the university for its student athletes. The tournament has a secondary mission to introduce the athletic staff to the community, business, and civic leaders. The foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. Shotgun start at 10 a.m. Registration, single registration is $100. Team registration is $360. Deadline to register October the 1st. $1,000 for a hole-in-one, and this is at the Clear Creek Golf Course in Bovina. That's the 9th annual Purple and Gold Golf Tournament, Friday, October 13th. We'll take a break. We'll be right back on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
If you haven't heard, Riverwalk's all-new Players Club is here. We believe you deserve the best casino loyalty program, so we're proud to introduce the all-new Riverwalk Rewards. Our players get more, with exciting new benefits, more tiers, and more rewards than ever before. And now, Riverwalk is home to the area's first and only military rewards card. Our new Honor Card is our way of saying thank you to all of our active and retired military. Let's play at Riverwalk Casino Hotel. Must be 21 to gamble.
At highway speeds, the average text takes your eyes off the road for about 5 seconds. That's enough time to travel the length of a football field. Stop texts, stoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
At WPRL 91.7 FM.
You are tuned in to WPRL 91.7 FM, broadcasting from the campus of Alcorn State University.
All right, 45 minutes after 6 o'clock here on the Fred McNair Radio Show. We'll be on the air at 5:30 on Saturday, Alcorn and Miles College. Of course, we talked about it at the top. A couple of longtime Alcorn greats who were very active in the area of athletics. Of course, the passing of longtime band director Samuel Griffin. And on Saturday, the university lost another great, former interim president Dr. Norris Allen Edney Sr. passed away. He served as interim president from February 2010 to January 2011, and acting president from December 2013 to March of 2014, guiding the university through 2 presidential transitions. Under Dr. Edney's leadership, Alcorn had a familiar and steady hand in steering it through the SACS reaffirmation and accreditation process in 2010. He started as a biology instructor in 1963, worked his way up to various leadership positions, including the chair of the Department of Biology, School of Arts and Sciences, Dean of Graduate Studies, interim dean of School of Nursing, and he served as the president of the Southwestern Athletic Conference from 1979 to 1984. Well, Coach McNair lost a great Alcorn great. Of course, I knew Dr. Edney. He was in athletics. He was one of my supervisors. He was very passionate about Alcorn State University and Alcorn State athletics.
Yeah, I met Dr. Edney on several occasions. I know one was one time I interviewed for the coaching job here, and he sit on the interview board with me, and he looked at me and said, "Just coach, I'm just sitting in on it. I don't have any question for you." So I really know Dr. Edney. My thoughts and prayers goes out to the family of Dr. Edney as well.
And the arrangements have been announced. Family Hour will be this Thursday at Rose Hill Baptist Church, located at 607 Madison Street in Natchez. The event will start at 5:30 and continue until 7. Funeral service for Dr. Edney will be held at Rose Hill Baptist Church Friday, September 1st at 11 a.m. Flowers, plants, and cards may be sent to Mackle & Sons Funeral Home, 300 North Dr. Martin Luther King Street in Natchez. All right, we'll take a time out here. When we come back, we'll get ready and preview Miles College. We'll hear from their head coach coming up next after this 1-minute timeout on the Fred McNair Radio Show.
Your Eastern Division champions, Alcorn State University Braves, kick off their 2017 season this Saturday when they entertain Miles College right here on the campus of Alcorn State University, Jack Speaks Marino Cassim Stadium. Game time 6 p.m. Pre-game 5:30. Join Charles DeVos of the Alcorn Braves Edmonds and Dr. David Crosby for all the play-by-play. It's Alcorn football on WPRL 91.7 FM and WPRL.org.
And welcome back to the Fred McNair Radio Show on this Monday night as we get ready for the big game on Saturday at 6 o'clock. It's Alcorn and Miles College. As we get into our game preview, let's talk with the head coach of Miles College, Reginald Ruffin. He has led one of the most successful eras in Miles College football history. He enters his 7th season as head football coach for the Golden Bears. He has 2 SIAC Conference Championships and is picked high in the conference yet again in 2017. So we say good evening to Coach Reginald Ruffin. He joins us on the telephone. How you doing, Coach?
Hey, thank you, Mr. Charles, for having me. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you coming on with us. Hey, just 5 days before game day, getting ready for another football season. I'm sure you're excited about your bunch.
Yeah, we've been going against each other, since camp and school has started, so we're kind of backed away a little bit. But, now it's a game situation for our preparation for Alcorn, which is a great football team led by a great head coach and Fred McNair. And, just the program, the history of that program it's been so successful. I grew up Alcorn fan with Steve McNair, so, it's for me, it's eyes wide open right now.
So just talk about your ball club. You've had a great level of success in your 7 years there, a couple of championships. Just talk about how you've been able to really build that program there in Birmingham.
Well, everything starts with your mind. It starts, so is man thinking, so is he. We had to change the culture, change the mindset of how we did things. Coming in, first you got to surround yourself with good assistant coaches. And then you got to recruit the right caliber of student athletes who wants to be students first and athletes second, and just want to do the right thing. For us going to class, being with the mindset of graduating, having that purpose. Because I think if you can get into the classroom, it's easier to get it on the field. Because God giving you the talent to be successful and be a good athlete, because you're blessed with that talent. So my thing is just to change the culture. That how you treat people. When you're walking into the classroom and cafeteria. So we had to change the mindset here and let them know that we're a successful and top program. And the only way you can do that is the way you change your mindset. So,
of course, last year Alcorn played in the SWAC MEAC Challenge, so we got a chance to go up against MEAC competition. So give folks a sense as to SIAC football, the type of strength, the back and forth as you get in the grind of your conference. What can fans here on campus expect from an SIAC team?
Well, we always lead the nation when it comes to attendance, so we will make Alcorn happy about our fans when they travel in our conference. We've been up there in the conference when it comes to attendance, so they'll have the support of the SIAC coming there and supporting SWAC, and sister institution with the SWAC, the MEAC, and SIAC, CIAA, HBCU conference. So, I just think with the SIAC, what we bring to the table, that we bring competitiveness, being competitor, just letting guys know that SIAC we tough. We play tough football here in this conference also, and you just got to line up, be fundamentally sound, and just approaching the game as we approach every game, whether it's FCS or whether it's Division II. All games are approached the same. So, the team that don't give up the big play, make the big play, don't turn the ball over, is going to win that football game.
Well, talk about what you know about the Braves as far as trying to make this thing really a special event here on Saturday.
We're just coming in and just trying to be prepared fundamentally, just hopefully our fundamental help us the first half where we can make an adjustment coming in the second half. But we do know you guys have a great quarterbacks in that system. I think you may be playing more than one or two quarterbacks in that system from last year, reading the stats that what those guys put up for the quarterback situation. And just the all-conference, your running back, I think he's probably the best in the SWAC, just researching on him, and a very aggressive defense. And, we know very little, and that's a true and honest statement about Alcorn at this point.
All right, Coach Ruffin, we appreciate you joining us here on this Monday night. All right, so we got Coach Ruffin's thought on the Braves. Coach McNair, your thoughts on the Golden Bears of Miles College, a team that's picked to finish second in the SIAC.
I tell you, Coach Ruffin has done a great job in this tennis there at Miles, and you talk about winning 2 divisions championships and what they've done over the past, and winning 62% of his ball games. It speaks volume. Anytime you get a coach that been there at that school so long and knows the in and out, and been doing a great job in recruiting and getting good players to go to Miles College. And as he said, recruiting is the top thing, and surrounding yourself with a good coaching staff. On the defensive side of the ball, they got a first-team all-conference guy, in Kalen Bonds, and you got a second-team all-conference guy in Anthony Hardy, and also lead the team in tackling, second in tackling. So you got a good group of kids that's going to be very hungry to play a good FCS football team, Charles. And on the offensive side of the ball, they got a good quarterback, Thomas Neely. He played in 5 games last year, and and the receiver they got, Trey Smith is a great guy, great receiver. They got 5. They had 6 guys last year at double digits in reception, and so that speaks a lot of what they can do in the passing game. So we got to be very prepared for those guys. And as I was talking to the team earlier today, we got to be the aggressor. We got to come out and make sure that we're doing everything first, and don't absorb the league. Let's give it. So that's the thing that we got to do with a great football program like Miles. And like I said, Coach Ruffin has done a great job with those guys, and with his winning percentage, it speaks volume of what he's been doing at Miles College since he's been there.
They have 10 starters returning on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, actually, the whole offensive line is coming back, Charles, and they're not very big, but they're quick and fast, and what they do on the offensive side of the ball is run the zone, outside zone, and the power with the quarterback. So we got to be very effective on that, and we just read our keys and assignments on the line, I think will be great. I think that the defensive staff that we have has been working on that. And Coach Thomas done a great job of getting those guys where they need to be on that defensive line and the linebacker core.
They have 6 starters returning on defense. Of course, the SIAC, they have an East and West division. Albany State, Fort Valley, Benedict, Clark, Atlanta, and Morehouse. Miles is in the West division, where it's Tuskegee. They're picked to win the Western division. So Miles picked to finish second, then Kentucky State, Lane, and Central State. Coach, there's always angst and anxiety where you're playing up or playing down, or even when you play in the SWAC. But when you play down, and of course, this is a D2 team we're going to be facing coming in here, what gets coaches anxious when you play down like this?
Well, actually, Charles, the thing is that you can't have a let up and you can't have a let down to where you're playing to a D2 level, which is a good football team. And we just got to be ready to play when we line up on Saturday, Charles, and be at our best at all times. And if we do that, and both special teams, and get the things going the way we think we will, I think we'll be fine. And we just got to just continue to grow this week and get guys into place and understand what we're trying to do going into Saturday. I think you'll see some great things out of Alcorn State University football program.
The whole recruiting process, you talk about the state of Alabama. Miles is right there trying to get kids like Tuskegee, Alabama State, Alabama A&M. I mean, some good football programs, non-FBS in the state of Alabama, and everyone's trying to get the pick of the litter there. And so, in Birmingham, that's a fertile recruiting ground for Alcorn as well. So it should be an interesting contest, and I think they'll bring a bunch of folks.
Oh, they will. And just speaking of that, I think that, Miles going to travel well. And like I said, Coach Ruffin said it earlier in this interview that the HBCUs have great attendance, and we've been doing that for a while, and hopefully it'll continue. And I know they're going to bring a crowd, and it's going to be anxious to play. And I think that we just got to come out and with our fan support and be behind our program as well, and cheer these young men on as they play this game.
What excites you, Coach, about the 2017 edition of the Alcorn Braves?
Just the idea of just everybody coming back and being healthy for the first ball game, and the idea of just being able to play this year at home, and everybody getting a chance to see the brand that we about to put on the field and everything like that. So no question about it. We do have the greatest fans in the world, and I hope they continue to support the Alcorn State University Braves and support athletics, period, Charles, and continue to grow.
We'll be on the air at 5:30, kickoff at 6 o'clock as the Braves begin their journey for their 4th straight Eastern Division title and another bite at the apple, a chance for a SWAC championship. Coach, we'll talk to you on Saturday. Let's have a good one.
Thank you, Charles. We should.
Head Coach Fred McNair joining us here on the Fred McNair Radio Show. We appreciate Marquise calling in from Port Gibson, all the tweets that have come in. We'll do it again, this time next Monday night at 6 o'clock. We'll try to catch up with FIU Coach Butch Davis as he's in his first season as the head coach of FIU. So we'll be having, we'll have some highlights of the game on Saturday, and we'll look ahead to FIU next Saturday at 6:30 Central Time. That'll do it for the Fred McNair Radio Show. For our producer, Jamario Brooks, and the coach, I'm Charles Edmond. We'll talk to you next Monday night.